そこは、ね、ピカソのディフェンスがうまかったっていう、ところですね。5月の試合に関してはこの試合が終わってから、話をしたいと思います。
When Naoya Inoue accepted the challenge from a proud and battle-tested Mexican champion, the boxing world immediately sensed danger, not just because of the names involved, but because history had taught fans exactly what happens when Mexican warriors step into the ring with supreme confidence and relentless pressure. The challenger carried the hardened toughness that Mexican boxing is famous for, a fighter shaped by hard rounds, endless wars, and a belief that no opponent could break his spirit. In interviews leading up to the fight, he spoke with certainty, promising to drag Inoue into deep waters, to test his chin, and to expose what he believed were cracks beneath the monster's calm exterior. Those words were not empty bravado. They came from a fighter who had survived battles others could not. A champion who believed pressure, durability, and courage would be enough to overwhelm even the most technical opponent. But Naoya Inoue does not fight with emotion, and he does not rely on hope. He fights with precision, patience, and a cold understanding of timing that turns bravery into vulnerability. From the opening bell, the difference between belief and reality became clear. The Mexican champion pressed forward immediately, cutting the ring, throwing stiff jabs and heavy hooks to the body, determined to make the fight physical from the very first second. For a brief moment, it looked like the plan might work, as the crowd felt the tension of two elite fighters colliding at close range. But Inoue remained composed, his eyes locked, his feet light, his movements sharp and efficient. He did not rush. He did not retreat in panic. Instead, he measured distance, subtly slipping punches by inches, allowing the challenger to commit just a little too much with each forward step. That was the trap. Inoue's counters began landing early, crisp, straight punches snapping the champion's head back. Not thrown with full power yet, but with intent, letting him know every mistake would be punished. As the round progressed, Inoue started mixing his shots, stabbing the body, then whipping hooks upstairs, forcing the Mexican champion to think instead of charge. That hesitation was deadly. The challenger had built his career on momentum, on overwhelming opponents before they could settle. But Inoue refused to be rushed. Every exchange ended with Inoue landing the cleaner shots. Every clinch break came with a sharp punch or elbow-like strike that left a mark. By the end of the first round, the crowd could already sense a shift. The pressure fighter was working harder, breathing heavier, while Inoue looked calm, almost relaxed, as if reading a familiar pattern. In the second round, the Mexican champion tried to raise the intensity, throwing combinations with bad intentions, digging to the body, hoping to slow Inoue down. But this is where Inoue's intelligence separates him from nearly everyone else. He welcomed the exchanges just long enough to draw the champion in, then unleashed devastating counters with perfect timing. A sharp right hand landed clean, followed by a brutal left hook to the body that visibly froze the challenger for a split second. That moment changed everything. Body shots against a pressure fighter are not just physical damage, they are psychological warfare. With each thudding punch to the ribs, Inoue began draining the challenger's confidence, forcing him to question how long he could keep pushing forward. Still, the Mexican champion showed heart, continuing to press, continuing to throw, refusing to back down even as the punishment increased. That courage earned respect, but it also placed him deeper into danger. Inoue began sitting down on his punches now, no longer testing, but committing. Straight shots split the guard, hooks wrapped around defenses, and the sound of impact echoed through the arena. The champion's face started to show damage, swelling and redness appearing as Inoue's accuracy took its toll. By the third round, the pace had shifted completely. What began as a test of pressure had turned into a clinic in controlled violence. Inoue moved effortlessly, stepping just outside the challenger's reach, then stepping back in with explosive combinations that landed before the champion could respond. Every missed punch from the Mexican fighter was met with immediate punishment, a reminder that effort alone is not enough at this level. The crowd roared as Inoue began breaking the challenger down, not with reckless aggression, but with surgical precision. A vicious left hook to the body followed by a right hand upstairs sent shockwaves through the arena. And for the first time, the champion visibly faltered. His legs stiffened, his posture changed, and the belief that had carried him into the ring began to fade. Inoue sensed it instantly. He did not rush wildly, but he increased the pressure just enough, cutting off the ring, forcing the champion into exchanges he could no longer win. They become liabilities. As Inoue left the ring, there was no dramatic celebration, only quiet acknowledgement of another task completed, another challenge answered. The crowd understood what they had witnessed, not just a knockout, but a masterclass in how elite fighters break down even the toughest opponents. This bout will be remembered not for trash talk or rivalry, but for the brutal clarity it provided. Naoya Inoue does not simply beat opponents, he dissects them, exposing the gap between belief and reality with ruthless efficiency. And as long as he continues to fight with this level of focus and control, every challenger who steps forward will carry the same risk, not just of losing, but of being taught a painful lesson in what true mastery looks like inside the ring. The finishing sequence came suddenly, yet felt inevitable. A perfectly timed counter caught the Mexican champion as he stepped in, snapping his head back and opening the door. Inoue followed with a brutal combination: body, head, body again, each punch landing clean, each one draining what little resistance remained. The champion tried to cover up, tried to survive, but the precision was too much. A final crushing blow sent him crashing to the canvas, the sound of impact silencing the crowd for a split second before the referee stepped in to end it. The fight was over, not because the challenger lacked heart, but because heart alone cannot withstand perfection. As Inoue stood over his fallen opponent, there was no celebration, no rage, only quiet focus. He had done exactly what he always does, studied his opponent, dismantled his strengths, and finished him with ruthless efficiency. The Mexican champion rose slowly, proud but beaten, having learned firsthand what so many before him had discovered. Challenging Naoya Inoue is not just a fight, it is a lesson in the difference between courage and mastery. This was not just another win for Inoue, it was another reminder to the boxing world that pressure, pride, and reputation mean nothing against a fighter who operates with this level of precision and control. As the referee waved the fight off and the arena erupted, the deeper meaning of what had just unfolded began to sink in, because this was not simply another title defense for Naoya Inoue. It was a demonstration of how elite fighters dismantle courage when it is not supported by precision and adaptability. The Mexican champion had entered the ring with pride, history, and an unbreakable belief in pressure, a style that has defined generations of legendary fighters. Yet Inoue exposed the limitations of that approach when faced with someone who sees the fight several moves ahead. In the moments following the knockout, slow-motion replays revealed just how calculated the finish truly was, showing Inoue slipping the incoming punch by inches before delivering the counter that ended the night. It was not luck, and it was not recklessness. It was anticipation perfected through years of discipline. Analysts pointed out that Inoue had subtly slowed the pace earlier in the fight to lure the challenger into overcommitting, a strategic choice that paid off when fatigue set in and openings appeared. The Mexican champion's toughness allowed him to absorb punishment longer than most, but even legendary durability has limits when every exchange is lost and every mistake is punished. As the rounds progressed, Inoue's body attacks played a crucial role, draining the challenger's stamina and stripping away his ability to maintain pressure. Body shots do more than hurt. They change posture, breathing, and decision-making, and by the time the finishing sequence arrived, the champion's guard was already compromised. What made this performance especially impressive was Inoue's emotional control. Despite the challenger's confident words and aggressive approach, Inoue never allowed ego to dictate his actions. He did not chase an early knockout, and he did not abandon his game plan when exchanges became intense. Instead, he trusted his timing, knowing that the finish would come naturally once the openings were fully exposed. This patience is what separates great fighters from dominant ones. After the fight, Inoue spoke with respect for his opponent, acknowledging the bravery and warrior spirit that Mexican boxing represents, while also making it clear that at this level, respect must be matched with skill. The defeated champion, though visibly disappointed, carried himself with dignity, admitting that Inoue's speed, power, and intelligence were unlike anything he had faced before. His honesty only reinforced the magnitude of Inoue's achievement. For fans, this fight answered lingering questions about how Inoue would handle relentless pressure from a seasoned champion, and the answer was decisive. He did not just survive it, he dismantled it. This victory further cemented Inoue's reputation as one of the most complete fighters in the sport, capable of adjusting to any style and finishing fights in devastating fashion. As discussions erupted across the boxing world, comparisons to all-time greats became louder, not because of hype, but because performances like this forced those conversations naturally. Inoue's ability to dominate across divisions, unify titles, and defeat champions with such consistency places him in rare company. Yet what truly sets him apart is how calm he remains in moments where chaos overwhelms others. He does not fight emotionally, he fights intelligently, and that approach allows his power to be delivered with maximum effect. This fight also served as a warning to future challengers who believe pressure alone can overwhelm him. Courage and aggression are admirable, but without precision,